Hey, good morning, everyone. Thanks for watching. I am chatting today about the THINKUBATOR. The THINKUBATOR is this awesome little space. I love it. It's on the 3x5 card. I'll just hold it up. I don't know if it's in focus or not, but it's the bottom half of one of the sides, so it takes up 25% of this 3x5 goal card that you have, or maybe you don't have or use, or maybe you don't use, or whatever. But I guess my point is that 25% I felt the THINKUBATOR is important enough that it warrants a full 25% of this limited amount of space that we have on these goal cards, because some of the best, most valuable things in the world are ideas, right? So if you've ever been around, let's say you're in a group of people and you're chatting, everybody's experienced this, I'm sure, and somebody inevitably, and maybe it's you, says, gosh, and they're looking down at something, maybe it's a product on a table, or maybe you're walking by a store or something, and somebody says, gosh, somebody needs to invent something that does this, right? Or they throw out a suggestion for something, or they say something that sparks an idea in your head. They don't say it directly, but you interpret it as an idea. Any number of things that can happen, right? Ideas get thrown around all the time, and they get wasted all the time. And if you're like most people, if this hasn't happened to you, it will. You're going to have an idea, and a few years later, you're going to go look at it on the shelf and say, why did I not do something? Look, there it is. It's sitting right there. I had this idea first. That person shouldn't even be, whoever came up with it, it's not fair. It's not right. Well, it is, because they did something with the idea and you didn't. But that's step 2. Step 1 is capturing the idea. If you don't capture it, you'll forget it. We have ideas all day long, but we don't capture them because we're just used to not doing it, I guess. And because we don't have a habit of doing it, it doesn't happen, and we don't capture ideas, and we lose them. We lose so many ideas. It's crazy. And then I think the idea just bounces around from person to person until it finds a home where somebody will do something with it. It's this philosophy I have, this animation world that my brain lives in. I see these ideas that kind of just go around. Okay, I'll try you. Nope, you're not going to do anything. All right, I'll go to you. Nope. All right, we're right here. How about you? Nope. And it just keeps going and that's why you have an idea, and then years later somebody else had the same idea. They did something with it because that idea just bounced around from brain to brain, passing yours, passing other people, finally landed in the person that did something with it, and they're a millionaire. And you're like, hey, I had that idea first. I had that idea 12 years ago. But you didn't do anything with it, so you might as well have not had the idea, actually. So anyways, once you set up a system for capturing your ideas, your brain will go to work for you, okay? Some weird thing that happens. I don't know. I don't study brains. I'm not a brainiologist. I don't even know how to say the word brainiologist. I just made up that word. Neuroscientist. I'm not that either. But I can tell you, though, from experience, that your brain appreciates the fact that you are willing to write stuff down. I think your brain doesn't like to waste things, and it looks and goes, hey, my host is capturing all my ideas. So now he or she is starting to take me serious, and so I'm going to return the favor. And that's what your brain does. And so you start coming up with more ideas. You start noticing more ideas. Now, noticing is the key, because you'll come up with 25% of your own ideas, but if you notice what's going on around you, you can capture ideas all day long. The key is to get in the habit of noticing ideas. Become a noticer. How about that for some advice this morning? Become a noticer. But when you notice something, you cannot store it in your brain. Your brain does not work as a storage unit. It is not a warehouse. If you are using your brain as a warehouse, you're not using it in the manner for which it was intended. Because what it's going to do, just like any warehouse that holds products, it's going to start filling up. The forklifts are going to start working overtime. It's going to start floor to ceiling. Old stuff is going to start collecting dust. You got all kinds of ideas in there, and they get covered up, right? You've been to an old warehouse just full of stuff. You got rows and rows and rows of boxes. Well, you can't get to the back box until you uncover it. It's been covered up by so many others. The goal is to keep it clean. The goal is to keep it empty. If you have an empty brain in your head, that's a good thing, contrary to what your husband or wife might be telling you. So what that does is it frees up your mental capacity to focus, to think clearly, to hold yourself to the most productive tasks. When your brain is full of ideas you're trying to remember, or thoughts you're trying to remember, you can't do that. So the goal is, when you get something, to get it out as fast as you can. It's a drive-through. Think of it as a drive-through. It comes in, you see an idea, boom, somebody says something, you see something, an interesting thought, something funny. Maybe it goes into your next presentation. Maybe it's a new way of selling or pitching, or it's a new product idea or a new book idea, or any number of ideas. Anything that strikes you. As soon as it comes in, the goal is to get it back out. Right here. Or on your phone, use Evernote, Google Drive, Word Docs, I don't care. Whatever. The principle is write it down and get it out. And then have a system for storing. I do a journaling system. I teach this on 3by5goals.com, and in my master course, I teach the way of journaling your ideas, and then you can always go back to them. But here's the thing, and you probably know this, but I'm going to say it anyways because I like doing that. You cannot use an idea you didn't write down and you forgot. I hate to be so blunt, so obvious, but guess what? You can't. You can, however, write down an idea and then never use it because it's just a dumb idea, but you wrote it down and what the heck. So if you don't write it, you can't use it. If you do write it, you can use it, but you can also not use it. So between the two, you got a lot more options when you write your ideas down. So start today. Whatever system you use, if it's this one, if it's your own, I don't even care really. But start today by writing your ideas down. And any idea, notice what's going on. Pay attention, keep the radar up. Notice what's going on. Anybody says anything, it's free. The world's full of free ideas. You just got to be there to capture them and write them down. And who knows, but one day, one of those ideas makes you a millionaire. Very well could happen. And when it does, I want you to come back and thank me for telling you to write your ideas down. Anyways, have an amazing day.